Alright, I'm going to make some Mexican rice. We need a hot pan, medium to high heat, and some oil. You should use canola or vegetable oil. I'm using olive oil because then I'd have to get the canola oil out of the pantry. We're going to put that into the pan with some onion. If you like onion, put lots. If you don't, I use big chunks and take it out later. Some onion and some garlic. Depending on the amount of rice, you want more garlic or onion. Maybe not that hot. Onion or garlic will burn. And you just want those in there for a second, and then you're going to add however much rice you're making. And we're going to toast that and make it nice and brown. And the oil's going to coat it and let it not stick together. Now it's too low. See, there's just never a middle ground. Alrighty, and as that toasts, I am going to add some tomato paste. Typically, I would add tomato bouillon. I don't have tomato bouillon, so we're going to use whatever the hell we have in the house. So I'm going to add some tomato paste. You just want enough to basically give it color and a little tomato flavor. You don't want too much tomato flavor, otherwise it's going to taste like tomato sauce. And I'm using chicken bouillon. I'm going to crumble it into the pan, and chicken bouillon will give it even better flavor than just the tomato sauce. So you don't want it tomatoey. That's nasty. And we're going to stir that in and let the tomato bouillon kind of toast in there with the rice. Give this, you know, a nice toasty spice flavor. And kind of break down the tomato paste. Let that get nice and toasty. I need some water. Alright, if you're using any kind of long grain rice, white rice, brown rice takes longer to cook, you would need double the amount of water to rice. I'm lazy, so I'm using instant rice, so I need equal amounts of rice and water. Maybe I should let that toast a little bit more. You just want a little bit of nuttiness from the toasting. You don't need it any kind of brown or anything, just so it gets a little bit of flavor from the oil and the onions. So add the water, careful it might pop because of the oil. And you want to make sure you break down your tomato paste into the water so you don't have chunks of tomato. And you just want it to look a pretty little red color, not too vibrant, but red enough to kind of, I guess, give it more of a burnt sun glue. And then you want to actually taste your water. Make sure that it has salt. And you just want it to taste tomatoey. It's good. I'm going to add some black pepper because I like a little pepper and everything. And I'm going to stir it in. And I'm going to shut the lid. And we're going to turn it down and we're going to let it cook. Alright, now we're going to make some taco meat. I have a hot pan and I'm going to add oil. Again, vegetable or canola is best because it doesn't burn as much. I just add extra virgin because I'm too lazy. So I need oil because I'm using ground turkey instead of ground beef, a bit healthier, same kind of taste. And I'm using 1 pound of meat, which should feed about 4 to 6 people. And we're going to put that in there, rinse my hands. And we need to break up the meat. Possibly turn down the pan a little. Okay, as that cooks, I'm going to need to add a little bit of salt and a little bit of black pepper, not a lot, probably a little bit more salt, just as it browns to give it some flavor. Keep breaking up the meat as it cooks. If it's stuck to the bottom of the pan, it's not because you burned it, it's because the meat's not ready to move. Don't force it. I'm also going to add a little bit of ground cumin. It's a little bit smoky. Don't add too much because it'll ruin the meat. You just want a nice little sprinkling. Smells really good. You'll smell it when it hits the heat. And let that go. I'm just going to let that brown. Alright, so the ground turkey has browned. It's almost cooked all the way through. It's basically done. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to lower the heat a bit. And I am going to add, yes, I'm a Mexican, and this is what I use to make tacos. Taco seasoning. Buy it in a packet or in a giant thing at Costco. You really want to go a little heavy-handed with it because you want it to both color and flavor the meat. And once you've added that, you're going to add a bit of water. Start with a couple tablespoons and move your way up until it's dissolved. All right, and you want to incorporate that in. If your pan's hot, it's probably going to evaporate the water and you'll have to add more, which is exactly what happened to me. I'm not very patient. I cook on a high heat. That's basically what happened. You'll smell the cumin and then all the spices in that taco seasoning. Taco seasoning is really cool. It's got like dehydrated onion and garlic and chili peppers and all kinds of stuff like that. So it gives all that flavor to the meat, and then it makes kind of like this really good, I guess, thick kind of sauce, I guess, in it. I don't know. It's what my mom's used since I was little, and so I basically do the same thing. I know it's the easy way out, but why buy all the spices separate when you can get them cheap in one damn bottle? All right, basically you want the water to give you this consistency. You want it kind of thick, little bit of sauce around it, not a whole lot. And then of course you want to taste it to make sure it's got enough flavor. That's actually perfect. I am going to turn it super low and just let it kind of simmer out a little of the water. And now we're gonna look at our rice, because I do think it's done. And it is. Kind of fluff it up. They say to use a fork. I'm too lazy. I'm gonna have to walk across the kitchen to get one. So it's not super red, not super bright orange, but it gives it kind of a nice little orange color, almost like just a tint to it. And that's all you want, because that tomato flavor is great. If you want it super bright red, you're gonna add too much tomato sauce and it's gonna taste gross, and it's probably gonna be really mushy because of the amount of liquid you added, because the tomato paste will evaporate into a liquid once it's in the water. That's not probably very scientific, but it's what I do. So there you go. There is some really easy Mexican rice and some taco meat. All right, pomegranate fizz. You need pomegranate juice, just a bit, enough. And some sort of sparkling wine, champagne is expensive, sparkling wine. Just till it fills up. And it's gonna be really pretty color. It's kind of a girly drink, but it tastes good. Maybe a little more.
Please put just the books and magazines away, 'cause they